Today, we've got the nerve, the audacity, the unmitigated gall to ask the question, is Wakanda Forever a little overhyped?
So what's this podcast about?
Somebody gotta keep it real, you know?
Reclaiming my time
by winning.
Keep my wife's name.
Catch me outside, how about that?
You're talking to
Unabashed hater.
My style is impetuous.
King Kong ain't got.
You come in with some nice waves of the black screw.
You're average looking at best.
I took offense to that.
Robert.
You ain't got the answer, Sway.
I have you beat.
You now have the unmitigated gall.
And with me to talk about it, I got an artist, not overhyped, undersold, bubbling, coming your way. Rapper, family, Pop G, Midwest
Pop G,
finest.
Baby. Yeah, yes, sir.
Pop.
Omaha's finest, to be exact.
What did I say?
No, you said Midwest. No, Omaha's Midwest. I just want to let them know it's
Right.
Omaha.
But I mean, you know, when you think about Midwest rappers, you always think about Nelly. You think about
Yo.
Bone.
You start thinking about people start focusing on Chicago nowadays. So it's gonna be like Kanye West. You know, even though he under fire, Lil Durk.
Little Dirt. We won't go there. But yeah, but Pop G out of Omaha, Nebraska, you know, just dropped the album earlier this month. We're going to talk about it today. But I got him on here to get his opinion because he's an artist. He's passionate about movies, TV. And we got to talk about Wakanda Forever, man.
We got to.
So I saw
For the culture.
For the culture.
In this great future, you can't forget your past. So dry your tears, I said.
So I saw it yesterday, a week after it came out, you know, let the crowds die down a bit. And, you know, I got an opinion, but first, let me get yours on Wakanda Forever. Your unfiltered, unmitigated opinion about that movie.
All right, I'm gonna just be transparent, raw, my straight, complete opinion. All right, first, I'm gonna just be real and say that I like that the antagonist had a little bit of dad bod going on because it helps my self-esteem.
Right.
I'm tired of these ripped people in these Marvel movies, man.
Right.
Thor, like, come on, man. You gonna make me have to go hard in the gym. I saw the antagonist with dad bod. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Finally,
Namor.
I get some appreciation. Yeah, but no. As far as my opinion on the movie goes, though, I like the tribute to Chadwick at the beginning. You know what I mean? The original Black Panther. I like that. I like that tribute. It's very heartfelt. It felt good. It felt like we were still grieving with like the cast. So I respected that. Overall, I feel like it was more like so many different women superheroes. You know, I feel like it was another one of those like women empowerment movements. You know what I mean? I felt like it was heavy focused on that, and as it should, because you know Shuri is basically the next Black Panther. You know,
Right.
she's
Well, I mean,
main
she is the
character.
Black Panther in this movie, right?
Yeah. She is. But and then the chick who I think I don't really read the comics, but I know that the next Iron Man after Tony Stark dies is supposed to be a black girl. So I
Exactly.
figured that's who they were introducing.
Right.
With the old girl from the dang, I forget her name too.
Well,
But yeah,
so spoiler alerts. We talking spoilers. We talking details. So here is your spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it, and you don't want to know what happened, then you know what I mean. Come back, click one of my other videos. But if you've seen it and you want to get involved in this discussion, this is where it's at. Because I agree with you. I mean, I think that's the one thing about not only this movie but the original Black Panther is that you can't escape almost the socio-political I hate to say agenda because it sounds malicious that way, but
Yeah, but it kind of is.
it is
though.
because and I think it kind of takes away from it as a story on its own as an adventure movie because
Right.
all the Marvel movies you can you can watch them for the story, but you can also watch them on repeat. Say while you're cleaning the house or doing something, you can I can't tell you how many times I watched Thor Ragnarok just having it on
Right.
because there's a good movie, especially action movie, there's layers to it. You got the story, especially these comic book movies, there's such an intricate story. So you got the story, you got the characters, and you got the action. And I feel with both of these movies, Ryan Coogler is the director, not really known, a very young director coming into this. The action was lacking. And I feel like when you're watching these movies, it's more about, the socio-political points that are being made more so than the characters. And definitely in Wakanda Forever.
Well, I think Marvel kind of has like a history of doing that. You know what I mean? Like even like if you go back to like Stan Lee making the X-Men, he said it was based off of the civil rights movement. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
the mutants were black people.
Right, exactly. And so I feel like Marvel's still continuing to do that because if you pay attention, it's not just Wakanda Forever. I mean, like it's been a focus on women superheroes, and I'm not knocking it. I dig it. I think it's dope. It's just like in this though, I thought like it would be. I didn't think it would actually be like that. So much of a big focus on women superheroes. Um, but they bring Namor in, and I dig Namor. I think he's dope. When they first showed him, I thought that there's no way that they were gonna hold a candle to him because they made him so powerful. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like I'm like, dang man, like he got all these underwater people ready to ride for him, like, and there's nobody who could stop him. That's how they made it seem to me. Like
Right.
they didn't make sure he seemed powerful enough. You know what I mean? So
Right. And I think that's what I noticed is that, like I said, spoilers, the big fight scene happens at the end and is pretty short. So you got a huge build up. I think what bothered me about this movie is I can deal with the socio-political agenda. That's fine. Like you said, it's time to move forward, but let it be exciting. And I think there was far too many times when the movie was a little boring. Like some of the other movies I remember going to the theater. You, and Ariel, we went to see the first Marvel Avengers. And remember how that felt?
Oh, that was
like the crowd was like,
packed.
it was just like that was the most satisfying feeling.
Every superhero got their moment to shine. They'll show you what Thor could do. They show you what Captain America could do. Iron Man. They show you what Hulk. When Hulk stepped on the screen, everybody went crazy because back then he was jumping from building to building,
Right.
throwing cars at aliens, catching big old aliens,
Right.
and slamming them into the ground.
Right.
Like he was doing superhuman
Right.
stuff.
So that's the bar, right? So that's the
yeah,
bar.
and so
and I'm just
it's
a
kind of
little
lacking
bored.
on that aspect. Really, there was only like two big fights. Really, the fight at the end, and then the fight where old girl had lost Shuri.
Mm-hmm.
When she fought that big dude, man. I'm sorry, I forget the names of these characters.
Right. Well, let's talk about the top 10. Well, not even the top 10, but just what I felt were like the most memorable characters. And this is my list of like the most important characters in Wakanda Forever. So of course there's Shuri, played by Letitia Wright. Namor, sorry, I'm gonna butcher this name, but Tanac Huerta. Queen Ramonda, played by the glorious Angela Bassett. A much thicker Lupita Nyong'o playing Nakia. Was I the only one that noticed that?
No, you.
I saw Lil Duval put a post on it. It got in trouble.
Oh, did he? I like Lupita though. She's fire. I liked her in Us.
Right.
I thought that was a dope movie. But yeah, I noticed that too. I'm like, okay, something different.
So we got her. She played Nakia, who we now know, spoiler, is T'Challa's baby mama. which I knew was going to
Yes.
happen. But we'll get back to that.
I knew it was too.
Right.
I knew it was coming. I could feel it.
So Riri / Ironheart is Dominic Thorne, the new young brilliant,
Ironheart. Okay. Right.
the new Iron Man, basically.
Basically,
M'Baku Winston Duke, who is pretty much the only strong male character in this movie.
Yeah.
The only strong male character in this movie.
And
All the
that's-
male
that's-
characters in this movie are second fiddle. Not even second. They're just why. Sorry. Like if you're looking, say you're an alpha male, and you want to see yourself in a character and identify with somebody, I guess it's M'Baku, but he still didn't have a big role to play in this movie. I mean, he was wiped out by Namor in one fell swoop, and even Namor to have all this power really didn't kick ass like the way you're used to seeing villains in Marvel movies doing. So
yeah, that was another beef. I feel like I wish there were more bigger fight scenes. I feel like the choreography is usually always there in Marvel fight scenes, but I feel like there was just basically 2 big fight scenes throughout the whole movie.
right,
And it's like that's like kind of lackluster. And then like the henchmen of Namor, I forget their names. It's like a big dude and then a woman.
right.
The dude, didn't even fight M'Baku. He fought the chick with the
Okoye.
spear. Okoye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
General
And that was
Okoye.
a dope. That was dope, but like that's just all that happened from that. And
Right.
it's like, dang, man, just 2 fight scenes here and at the end of the movie, and it's like, dang, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I just, in comparison, I think I definitely like the first Black Panther more. But if I were to rate this Black Panther, I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10.
Ooh. And you know what? I got to be honest. I'm feeling the same way. I was like, am I being a hater right now? Because how I'm feeling? Am I holding the culture back because I don't
want to take away from that.
And I feel like if we criticize it as black men, I feel like we're kind of like criticized as being haters or hating black women. So
yeah, you gotta be hard. You gotta be careful with that, because it's like, I'm not trying to take away. I love what Marvel's doing,
right,
but I just feel like I feel like there's a scale, and instead of keeping it balanced, the scale's going like this.
Right,
you know
right.
What I mean? Like,
well,
leaning highly in.
It's like the first thing. Make the first thing the first thing. So if I'm going to a restaurant, you know what I mean, the food has to be good. Like, you want ambiance. You want a good service. You want, there's a lot of things that you want. You want a fair price, but the main thing is the meal. Is the meal good? And I feel with the action movie, is this an exciting movie? And I feel like neither Black Panther or Wakanda Forever gave me that, especially Wakanda Forever. And I'm just like, remember, the first thing is the first thing. And, so it made me look back at Ryan Coogler's IMDb, because I remember thinking when he first got Black Panther, I was like, wow, that's a big movie for him to get coming from Fruitvale Station. But you got to remember, he worked with Michael B. Jordan, who's a big star. So you got to feel like in those meetings and them understanding the cultural significance of this, a lot of Michael B. Jordan probably had a big say-so of who the director should be. As far as delivering on the social promises of the movie. Now, the flip side of that is he's not an action director, so a lot of the fights are slower. There's not as many fights,
Because I don't know much of him, like, of all the movies he directed.
Right.
But it does feel more like a drama than a action movie.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying, because he went from Fruitvale Station to Creed to Black Panther. So Creed was ahead of Black Panther, but even Creed, if you compare Creed to Creed 2, to me, Creed 2 is a much more satisfying movie. Why? Because they understand you got to have a great villain in like a Rocky type movie. The
Right,
first
right.
Creed dude was all soft and out of shape. I'm like, damn, I might be able to whoop his ass. But then Creed 2, you got Drago's son, and he looking like
Yeah, he
Drago's
wasn't
son.
no punk. Yeah, he's a big boy, man. He looked like a menace, like a straight villain. So I get what you mean there. But so he only did Creed 1, he didn't do Creed 2.
He was a producer on Creed 2, but he didn't direct it. And I feel like when you're
Okay.
watching a movie, you're getting that's the director's sauce in it, because there's a lot of producers involved. An executive producer is going to basically get the movie made, probably have a lot to say of who's in it, who does direct it. But, so when I look at Ryan Coogler, I'm looking at like what movies did he direct? And so it made sense that it went from Fruitvale Station to Creed because those are both Michael B. Jordan movies. And then it made sense that Michael B. Jordan's in Black Panther. And then, Ryan Coogler is tapped to do that. And since Black Panther made all this money, a lot of it because black people wanting to see this black movie succeed,
Right.
So now he gets to do Wakanda Forever. But I'm glad that we can just call a spade and be like, look, it's a good dramatic movie. It's good for the culture. But when you're comparing it to other Marvel movies, it's like a Marvel movie, or even just comparing it as an action movie, it's not up to snuff as far as
it's
that.
a little lackluster right there. But like I said, I do understand the women superheroes because representation matters. Like this is like what probably like the first time you're seeing like a main black female superhero.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's Storm and the X-Men,
Right.
but like she don't.
They never
there's not a
handled
big
her
spotlight.
right.
Yeah, there's not a big spotlight or focus on her. So it's like I get that. I get little black girls being inspired, seeing like they could do all these things that that's not shown because a lot of black male superheroes were kind of underrepresented, but then like I feel like the pendulum's starting to swing. And so, you're starting to see more of that. So they're like, you know what? Let's shine some light on the females. Because you see Black Widow, they
Right.
killed off Black Widow and then her sister pop up. You know what I mean? You see Miss Marvel, you know what I mean? Captain Marvel, I mean. You see she been had a movie.
Right.
So it's like you have all the women come together. Wanda, Wanda and Vision.
Yeah.
They show how strong she is in her own little series, and then the Doctor Strange movie, she's messing people up.
Right. I got to see that. But so to your point, those movies can be successful. So it's been introduced now, and it's shown it can be financially viable. So, but you got to make sure that you give people what they're going for. So. Because at some point, the black audience is gonna the novelty of supporting just to support is gonna go away. So now you gotta start making sure that the wider Marvel audience and the action movie genre is being satisfied by the movies. Because remember back when you was a little whippersnapper, Blade came out. The first Blade kicked ass. I don't think they spent a lot of money on it, but it made a bunch of money. And so they had
Blade was raw. Man.
Exactly.
Blade was raw.
So you can have these movies, and that was my beef with Black Panther. I just feel like T'Challa, the Black Panther, he was better in like Civil War.
He was. I noticed that too. There was a big hype about him in Civil War, and they showed you what he could do. He was going ham. He was doing all sorts of stuff. But then, like in his own movie, it died down a little bit. You know what I mean? I feel like the star power sometimes takes away from that because Killmonger was an important character by Michael B. Jordan, and people quote Killmonger.
He was ill.
Impact.
Killmonger was right.
There's a lot of people who can relate to Killmonger. You know what I mean? Like I hear the artists talk about it all the time. Like dang, like he was militant. He's what we represent. Like he represents us. It's like the whole Malcolm X, Martin Luther King thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So if you got a strong character like Killmonger, that means as the director, I got to focus on making my hero like even stronger. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like if you have someone like Mr. T play Clubber Lang, you got to make Rocky ill. You know what I mean? And Rocky was ill.
Right.
He was like super shredded. You know what I mean? He had his own battles going on. So you just got to make sure that, because you got to have a dope villain, but you got to make sure that your hero stands up. And I feel like Black Panther, T'Challa was the weakest character in the movie. And even though he loomed heavy over Wakanda Forever, even Shuri was a stronger character than he was in the first one. But even still, the movie was kind of boring. And that's my problem. So...
All right. So how you rating Black or Wakanda Forever?
So you giving it a 6 out of 10? You know what? I commend you, sir, because I was grading this on a woke scale. I initially was gonna give it a 81%, but I'll do it out of 10. So that would have been an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
I'm gonna say 7 out of 10 because visually it was stunning. You know, it set up the future, which I'm happy about. But yeah, it's I doubt that I'm just gonna binge watch Marvel movies and like get on it again,
Right. 7 out of 10. You're not rewatching it.
It's not a rewatchable. It's not a rewatch.
It's not a rewatch for me either.
So
I'm gonna give it 6 out of 10. You give it 7 out of 10. I understand. All right, cool.
So there you have it. From one of the Midwest best young artists, Pop G gave Wakanda Forever 6 out of 10. I gave it 7 out of 10. Still support, you know what I mean? But maybe catch it on on the app.
I gotta check out the soundtrack though. I still haven't checked out the soundtrack in full. Cause Kendrick did the one in the first one for the first Black Panther movie. So
Tim's did the main theme song for this one, which was her remake of Bob Marley's "No Woman No Cry." Tim's is a dope artist. I'm starting to really feel her stuff.
She fired for sure. She fired for sure. And then Rihanna got the the hit single off that too.
Yeah, her song was cool.
I read it was like the first song that she released in 6 years, I think, right?
Oh wow.
Like yeah, you don't even
wow.
when somebody
Time flies.
makes timeless music like that, you don't even realize.
Wow. So
that's crazy.
So there you have it again. All the things surrounding the movie dope. The way it looks, the music, the art direction, the culture, but it didn't deliver on the meal. So you heard it, Pop G, your boy EG. Pop is gonna be back. We're gonna talk about another thing that's on the plate. So, and also stick around for more. We're gonna be talking about his album. We're gonna hear his flow, and we're gonna tell you where to get it. So, Microphone Massacre is the album. The artist Pop G. He's gonna be back. Stick with us.
Thank you.